Folks, one of the things you hopefully have seen on One Rental at a Time channel is I make predictions, but I also spend a lot of time trying to educate folks. And the other day I put something out on Twitter that most people don't believe and even less people understand. This graph, this picture, this meaningful idea is really counterintuitive to a lot of folks. They basically see what's going on in the banking system, bank runs, bank failures. They're like, hey, the money printer go burr, inflation to the moon. And I'm like, you guys don't understand. Cost of capital went up. It's actually going to get harder to do lending. And what is occurring right now is actually reverse of what you were thinking. So I don't believe either of you to follow me on Twitter because I don't think either of you are active on Twitter. Is that correct?
No, not on Twitter. Sorry, I'm on Instagram. Yeah, I'm not on Twitter. No.
Yeah.
Well, I am, but I don't follow anything. I don't do anything.
I don't think I have a Twitter account. Actually, that's changing soon. But yeah.
So one of the things you got to know about Twitter, it's where people go to get angry, throw hate. It is an incestuous pool that you have to.
So it's wicked.
There.
Yeah, I don't know why you two aren't there.
It's wicked different from all the other social toilets.
Well, again, Instagram's all about the pretty pictures and all of that, and no, I think Twitter's where hate goes to fester. I really do, and I get beat up almost every day.
Nice.
So I need some help. So if you don't follow me on Twitter and you have a Twitter account, One Rental at a Time, please come to my defense because I get trashed like 90-10 every day. There's a lot of crass bros and hate on Twitter.
Yeah, go to Reddit. Go to Reddit.
Yeah, no, that's enough. I'm done. So let me share this chart because I want people to see it. This is just another reason to follow me on Twitter because this is meaningful. Can I make this bigger? Probably. How do I make this?
That's pretty big.
Okay. Look at that. Like I know how to do this. So again, this is the chart of the federal funds rate, right? It is going up. Who do I give credit? This came from Apollo. This is Apollo Group put this out. Again, full credit to Apollo Group, full credit. But basically what happened is tighter financial conditions plus tighter lending standards corresponds to a 1.5% increase in the Fed funds rate. Said another way, debt got more expensive.
Yep.
Debt got harder to get. The Fed has to do less. Most people do not understand what transpired over the last 10 days. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, exactly. It's what we've been saying for almost a year. Hey, all you people waiting on the sidelines, licking your chops, thinking there's going to be a 20 and 30% crash in real estate values, and the payment's going to be exactly the same. Wrong. It's still wrong. You're wrong. Cozy up to wrong. It's not how it works. And this is the thing, is if you'd actually been, I don't know, in the market for more than 9 seconds, like most of these YouTube clowns, the fact of the matter is that this is what we went through in the literally 07, 06 to like 12. It was 6 years of watching this stuff unfold. That's why when they're like, crash, guess what? We're like, nope, it's going to take time. It's going to take time to go through this process. And this is exactly what we expected. We knew that over time, were there going to be bank failures? Yep. Were there going to be all these waving hands and gnashing of teeth and maybe people in the streets crying? Yep. Would it be a mass event? No, it's going to be what the media covers, which is it's going to be really loud. Yep. But at the end of the day, the Fed is going to have to answer. And that means that it's going to get more expensive to borrow debt because banks cover the lending rate or the target rate with margin. And then they make it more difficult for you to get debt because they don't want to take on bad debt. So they recognize we're going to be doing a lot fewer transactions, and those fewer transactions are going to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah. So Dion, one of the things I don't know about in your story, when you got started, Dion, were you aware that there was a long time in history, and I want to say it was at least 8, it might have been 10 years, where a normal investor like you could not get 10 loans? You could only get 4. Were you aware of that?
Yeah. So originally my plan was to always do residential loans. Okay. Right. I was not educated on DSCR, asset-based, other options that could absolutely work with fixed rate debt. So I got into 4 mortgages, and then I made a huge financial mistake and focused on paying one off before acquiring the next property. So I'm 2 or 3 properties lower than I would have been had I not focused that money on debt paid. Luckily, it was 6% interest. So, I mean, it was a kind of a higher rate to get rid of. It worked out now, but it slowed down my growth significantly because I was held to those 4 mortgages. And instead of looking at other options, about a year after that, 2016 or so, they went back to 10. And on an interview with you, I think the first time I was on your channel, you just casually said, well, I don't see why you don't go to 10. And I thought, that makes sense.
Let's go to 10.
To 10.
Yeah. So again, folks, lending rules can change overnight. You know, both Matt and I operated in an environment where the rule of 4 or 10 was not an idea. They came out in the crisis and said only 4. And oh, by the way, I don't remember where Matt was, but I was over 4 at the time. So the lending market was shut off. So I had to go private money. I went hard money first. Let's be clear. I went hard. Dude, I was paying 12% for deals. 12% and 35% down of purchase or an appraisal, whatever was lower.
Whooshka.
Yeah. Again, it just had to keep going, right? Then I did private money at 10%. And, you know, I didn't get a bank loan until like, God, 2020, I think. Right. It's just, it was crazy. So again, folks, I want everybody to realize everyone listening to this is a part of this. It got harder and more expensive. And I actually want to step back, except one part. You know, there's one surprising element in all of this. I'm curious if you guys can, given our talks over the years in my daily financial news, do you know what the one surprise in all of this nonsense, regional banks failing, commercial loans collapsing, home loans more, or investor loans more expensive? Do you know the one part of the real estate market that is actually going to do okay?
I'm probably going to miss, but I would say the buy and hold investor, because rents haven't tanked based on the same elements.
So the buy and hold investor is still going to pay higher rates and higher fees and probably do more down. So they're injured by what's going on. I like that guess. Matt, you got a chance?
SFRs, single families.
Specifically single family owner occupied.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very clear. You got to add the owner occupied part. And here's the real magic. Nobody sees this yet. Do you know why only single family owner occupied below the median is going to do okay? There's only one reason.
I mean, no more of it's being built. No, go ahead. I'm ready.
Fannie and Freddie are under conservatorship. They are not for-profit organizations. If they were for-profit, they would be sucked into the quagmire of everybody else. The fact that Fannie and Freddie are under conservatorship, and which means government owned, they're going to take on every mortgage broker is going to be feeding owner-occ loans through the system. They're the only buyers. Yeah. So there is one part of the housing market. There's one part of the real estate market that is okay. Mm-hmm. It's single family, owner-occ, below the median, only because Fannie and Freddie are under conservatorship. It is a wild time in the real estate market. It's crazy for me to think about that. The fact that they're still in conservatorship 10 years later is the only good sign left in housing. It's wild for me to think about.
Well, there's two things here when it comes to this debt and the cost of capital going up. You know, we saw that the tighter lending on this chart, tighter lending is the equivalent of it going 1.5 points higher. With lending fears being where they are, we can actually see margins expand.
Exactly.
And then, of course, this happens every time it becomes expensive, with rates and prices making it hard to buy a home. We're going to see more and more pitches for those adjustable rate mortgages.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Duplexes so the same loan product that you use for a single family owner-occ is the same loan product for a duplex.
Owner-occ. Yes, correct.
Yes. So I expect that duplexes will continue to rise aggressively in price.
Yeah, I mean, this is stuff people need to realize, right? Again, if you can be a house hacker in a duplex, you can, again, it's just true. They're under conservatorship. It's not right or wrong. The fact that they're not held to the same standards that all banks and institutions are. Correct. So they're just going to, light up the machine and take on more loans.
Yep.
Wild to think about, right?
And duplexes is going to be where most people can get all of the economies of scale.
Yeah, it helps for sure.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So again, I think we're in for a difficult year. Investors, all of us, all the people that follow us, expect an extra 5% down. Like if you used to get 20, it'll be 25. It used to be 25, expect 30. Expect it. Be happy if it doesn't happen. I would expect rates to be higher. I would expect fees to be higher. Banks need to rebuild. So what does that mean for all of us? Buy better.
Oh, yeah.
Buy better. Keep doing the work. Don't stop. Dion?
If I could teach a really quick tip for anybody who's made it this far into the video. There's a hidden asset class that benefits from this single family and duplex, this owner-occupied residential loan, that you can eliminate most of your competition, because our largest competition as an investor is the home buyer, because they buy based on payment, not on yield. Most investors, when they hear this, they look for small multifamily. So they're going to have their search set up for duplex, triplex, fourplex. Single family homeowners are looking for houses. So if you can set into your search to look for a house with an ADU, it actually qualifies for the same lending as a single family house. Doesn't have that little half a point bump that a duplex will get. It's the same lending. You could do owner occupied. You get the benefits of a duplex. It's 2 units on 1 property. But we can't control how the listing agent is going to list it. We know to search for ADU, but the listing agent might call it a DADU, JADU, accessory dwelling unit, auxiliary dwelling unit, granny flat, mother-in-law house. So in your searches for that asset class that investors often miss and home buyers don't want, include every single one of those colloquialisms that I just threw out in your search. And that might help you find that next property that becomes your next rental.
Yeah, at the end of the day, understanding all of this, none of us and none of you watching should stop. Just understand cost of capital goes up. It's one variable. Understand we are only doing great deals. I've not unlocked good. We are only doing great. Build your relationships like we talked about in video number 1. This is a time that you really can do those life-changing deals. These life-changing deals happen in a recession. They happen when people are scared. They happen when people aren't looking. So have fun with it. Keep looking. Keep writing great offers. If you don't get the deal, who cares? Write the next one. Matt, where can people find you in closing thoughts?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and on Instagram. And the only thing that I would say is one of Dion's key points. If you're getting a half point bump because it's a duplex, shop them, because there's a lot of places that won't give you any bump on that duplex because it doesn't require anything different from Fannie Freddie. So I would say do like Dion does and shop like there's no tomorrow.
There you go. Dion, where can people find you in closing thoughts?
Right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom. And to add on to Matt's add-on, if a lender tells you you need to put more than 5% down on a duplex, shop them.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.